Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana, Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana, Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana, Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana, Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Jaya Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Bihari. 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 Gaur Premanande, Hare Hare Bol. Hare Krishna. So, it's very wonderful to be here, singing and dancing every morning. This is the life. This is real life. When people ask, what do you do in the mornings? Oh, we sing and dance every morning. Really? Every morning? Oh yeah, every morning. But for how long? Well, at least an hour. So, this bhakti yoga is very wonderful. It's not dry. It's full of nectar. And we're glorifying our best friend, Sri Krishna, who is giving us everything, including our very lives. So here, we're going to continue studying the 4th canto, chapter 11, entitled Swayambhuva Manu Advises Dhruva Maharaj. And today's verse is number 17. Nimitta matram tatrasin nirguna purusharshabha vyakta vyaktam idam vishwam yatra bhramati lohavat. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Nimitta matram tatrasin nirguna purusharshabha vyakta vyaktam idam vishvam yatra brahmati lohavat. Nimitta matram tatrasin nirguna purusharshabha vyakta vyaktam idam vishvam yatra brahmati lohavat. Nimitta matram tatrasin nirguna purusharshabha vyakta vyaktam idam vishvam yatra brahmati lohavat. Nimitta matram, remote cause. Tatra, then. Asit, was. Nirguna, uncontaminated. Purusharishabha, the Supreme Person. Vyakta, manifested. Avyaktam, unmanifested. Idam, this. Vishvam, world. Yatra, where. Brahmati, moves. Lohavat, like iron. Translation, by His divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. My dear Dhruva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is uncontaminated by the material modes of nature. He is the remote cause of the creation of this material cosmic manifestation. When he gives the impetus, many other causes and effects are produced, and then the whole universe moves, just as iron moves by the integrated force of a magnet. So, how the Srila Prabhupada's purport, how the external energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead works within this material world is explained in this verse. So, this is very important, how everything is working. So the first thing that's mentioned is nimitta matram, remote cause. So Krishna is the cause of everything, but he's very remote. He's not here. In our world, you have to be here to cause something. But Krishna is not even in this universe. He's beyond the material universes, and he's causing everything. This is the remote cause, extremely remote. So that means that Krishna's energy is all-pervading. Even from a very remote place, beyond this entire universe, he can cause things to happen. That's quite amazing. So Krishna, he's got unbelievable Shaktis. So everything, Prabhupada says, is happening by the energy of the Supreme Lord. The atheistic philosophers who do not agree to accept the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the original cause of creation, they think that the material world moves by the action and reaction of different material elements. A simple example of the interaction of elements occurs when we mix soda and acid, and the movement of effervescence is produced. But one cannot produce life by such interaction of chemicals. There are 8,400,000 different species of life with different wishes and different actions. How the material force is working cannot be explained just on the basis of chemical reaction. A suitable example in this connection is that of the potter and the potter's wheel. The potter's wheel rotates, and several varieties of earthen pots come out. There are many causes for the earthen pots, but the original cause is the potter, who sets a force on the wheel. That force comes by his superintendence. The same idea is explained in Bhagavad Gita. Behind all material action and reaction, there is Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna says that everything depends on his energy, and yet he is not everywhere. So let me just explain this. Krishna says that everything depends on his energy, but yet he is not everywhere. His energy is everywhere, but he doesn't need to be everywhere. He can be very remote, beyond the universes, but his energy is everywhere, and so he can cause everything to happen, even though he's not even here. That's what we would call mystic power. It seems to those who don't have a deep understanding that something just happened by itself, because they don't understand the remote cause. So it looked like it just happened by itself. So this is a child's understanding. Just for example, just to give you a good example, if you ask a child, where does the water come from? He says it comes from the tap. I said, and I'll say, can you prove it? And he said, yeah, he'll go and turn a tap on and the water comes from the tap. See? Water comes from the tap. That's his understanding. It's a child's understanding. He doesn't understand there's a reservoir of water far away, and there's many different pipes, and it's all going through all the different pipes into each person's home. But to him, it just comes from the tap. So similarly, these scientists, they're like the child. They have the child's understanding. They don't understand the remote cause, far, far away. And just what they can see immediately, they think this is the cause. But it's actually only the effect. When you turn on the tap, that's just the effect. The real cause is the body of reservoir of water. Clear? Okay. So then Prabhupada goes back to the example of the potter. The pot is produced under certain conditions of action and reaction of material energy, but the potter is not in the pot. He's completely separate from the pot, but he's causing everything to happen. In a similar way, the material creation is set up by the Lord, but he remains aloof. He's not part of it. As stated in the Vedas, he simply glanced over it, and the agitation of matter immediately begins. By Krishna's glance, everything starts. That is supreme power. I can glance at something and nothing happens. I don't have that power. Krishna has that power. So in the Bhagavad Gita, it is also said that the Lord impregnates the material energy with the part and parcel jivas, and thus the different forms and different activities immediately ensue. Because of the different desires and karmic activities of the jiva soul, different types of bodies in different types of species are produced. In Darwin's theory of evolution, there is no acceptance of the living entity as spirit soul, and therefore his explanation of evolution is incomplete. So it's very interesting. Prabhupada says that Darwin's theory of evolution is incomplete. We say it's bogus, it's false, but it's not right, it's incomplete. Now I'll give you an example. Because everything evolves. The country of Romania evolved. The city of Timișoara evolved. Over time, things evolve. Human beings evolve. Our ideas evolve. Our impressions of everything evolve. So evolution is going on in every sphere. But Darwin, not understanding the remote cause and that the spiritual spark within the body, therefore his idea was incomplete. So what he's talking about actually is not even evolution. It's what's the word? Transmutation of the bodies. Just like, for example, anything can evolve, but to go from one species to another is not evolution, that's transformation. The body is being transformed into another body. That's not evolution, that's not something that's evolving. So he didn't even understand the concept of evolution properly. Plus he didn't understand the spirit soul within. The spirit soul is also evolving, becoming more and more purified, and becoming more and more in contact with Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we're also getting closer and closer. But we remain the same thing. We remain the same spirit soul. Although Romania has evolved from a primitive country to a more advanced country, it's still the same country. Timișoara evolved from a little village to a city, but it's still the same city, same place. It doesn't change doesn't change into Cluj-Napoca, right? Still the same Timisoara. So this is where Darwin went wrong. And of course, his theory is over 150 years old. So 150 years ago, they had limited vision. They had no idea of what we know today. Like, for example, the body, every living entity's body, whether you're human, male, female, or animal, or cat, or dog, or insect, runs by a computer program. So the body takes birth, and at a certain age, the teeth fall out and new teeth come, the milk teeth, and then the permanent teeth come. Then the age of puberty, your body changes again. The male gets a deeper voice and hair grows on his face. And the women, their body changes and they go through different changes. It's all pre-programmed. When Darwin's theory was originally propagated, they had no conception of programming. They had no conception of how things are pre-programmed and they work according to the program. So the question is, who programmed it? Because nobody, no intelligent person will say that a program, a computer program, just happened by itself. There has to be a programmer. Everybody agree on this point? So we understand the programmer is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But scientists of today are still clinging to this false and very weak argument of evolution. It has no backing of modern understanding. It's so flimsy. It's like a house of cards. You know, when you're a kid, you make a house out of playing cards, and the wind comes and it blows away, falls down. So it's so flimsy. And they're just trying, hope against hope, to come up with some explanation without understanding the remote cause, which is ridiculous. They're trying to explain how water comes from the tap without the reservoir. You can't do that. It's crazy. It's nuts. It's insane. But because they do not accept the Supreme Lord, therefore they're trying to figure something out. They're trying to put the jigsaw puzzle together with the wrong pieces. Can't be done. So why are they not accepting the Supreme Lord? Why are they not accepting the remote cause? Someone may ask that question. Because they can't see, touch, feel, hear, or experience. So the law of physics, or the laws of physics, deal with physical things only. And what we're talking about is something beyond the physical. I have a friend in California. He's a physics professor at the University of California in San Diego. But he's a real devotee. And he does the fire yagya svaha and the whole thing, and he's totally into it. He knows Sanskrit. And he explained to me that physicists just deal with physical things. They don't even consider anything beyond physics because that's not their area of examination. That's not their area of study. So you can't come to a conclusion in physics or in biology, which also just studies physical things. And all of science only studies physical things. Therefore, they can never understand a remote cause or a spiritual cause or a higher energy rather than the material energy. And that's the limitation. And that's why I say that their philosophy is like a child's philosophy. Because they don't go deep. They don't go beyond what they can see. So they're thinking the water comes from the tap, without having any idea of the reservoir and all the pipes and everything it takes to bring the water to the tap. So Prabhupada then explains in the next paragraph, In Bhagavad Gita, it is also said that the Lord impregnates the material energy with the part and parcel jivas, and thus the different forms and different activities immediately ensue. Now, it's very interesting. Now, a woman may be pregnant, and you ask her, oh, how did that happen? Oh, it just happened. Just by chance, I got pregnant. I mean, it's ridiculous. Of course there was a cause, you know. So in this way, Krishna impregnates the material energy with the spirit souls, with the living entities. And we can understand the whole thing in the same way that a man impregnates his wife. So to think that a woman becomes pregnant just by some chance, you know, that there was no remote cause, is, again, it's just a child's understanding. So Prabhupada continues, because of the different desires and different karmic activities of each individual jiva soul, therefore different types of bodies in different species are produced. So every living entity is a unique individual, and each unique individual has their own desires and their own activities and their own karmas to work out from past experiences. So, for example, we have the case of one of the greatest scientists of all time, Isaac Newton, and who first explained the law of karma in terms of physics, Ft equals mv, and all these different equations that he came up with to show that for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. But he didn't go deep enough. It's true within our sphere of vision, what we can see and what we can experience, but beyond that there are reactions from past actions, not just in this life, but in previous life. We know that that's true in this life, but the scientists don't understand that from previous life it's also true, because they think the water comes from the tap. They don't go deep enough. They don't go far enough to examine the entire subject matter. The entire topic is not fully understood. Therefore, Prabhupada says, in Darwin's theory there is no acceptance of the living entity as spirit soul, and therefore his explanation of evolution is incomplete. So Prabhupada is very kind and very generous. He just says it's incomplete. I'm a little heavier. I say it's a child's understanding. Other people are more heavy and they say it's completely bogus. So, but everyone agrees that it doesn't answer all the questions. And therefore we have neo-Darwinism, and we have the latest understandings, you know, that scientists would say, okay, they admit, okay, well, you know, he didn't have that exactly right, but now we know a little more, and blah, 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 and blah, 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 and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. But they're still missing the remote cause. They're still missing that spiritual energy. They don't understand that there's two natures. They only understand one nature, which we call the material nature. They also call it the material nature. They even say Mother Nature. There is no person or mother named Nature, but they give that, they personify nature by saying the mother. So then Prabhupada said, well, if you have a mother, then who's the father? You can't have Mother Nature and it just happened by accident, you know, then who's the father? Who's the seed-giving father? So all their explanations are so incomplete that the devotees immediately can see it and understand where they've gone wrong. But the materialists cannot understand it. They think, wow, this is it. We've sussed it out. We've figured it out. Now we understand everything. However, the thing with the science is that what is true today, or what is taught today in the universities, 50 years later, is no longer taught. What is considered knowledge today is considered ignorance 50 years ago. When I got my degree 50 years ago, I had a degree in knowledge. But if I gave the same answers on the exam today that I did 50 years ago, I wouldn't pass. I'd fail. So I have a degree in ignorance only. And even in the families, a father may say such and such, and the little boy says, "Daddy, that's wrong. In school we've learned this, this, and that." So that's the thing. In science, what we know today as knowledge, 50 years later becomes ignorance. Just like, for example, in 1920, Henry Ford, his Model T Ford that rolled off the assembly line, was considered the epitome of human engineering. Today it looks like just some contraption, compared to a Ferrari or a Lamborghini, And similarly, in the 22nd century, today's technology is going to seem like in the 1800s for those people in the next century. So as technology and scientific understanding evolves, what was considered to be knowledge then later becomes ignorance. And this is the basis on the book that I wrote, Stephen Hawking on Trial. And I took everything that he said and showed how it was completely ridiculous, didn't hold water. And I sliced and diced his whole philosophy. But I did it in a very gentle way. Because if you smash someone, people don't accept it. You're just some religious fanatic. So I did it in a very scientific way. I put the whole thing in a courtroom. Stephen Hawking on trial. I had a mock trial, and he presents his philosophy and his theories, and then the prosecutor asks, okay, well, where's the data? Where are the facts? Where's the evidence to support this? And there is no evidence. It's all based on speculation. So that's science, what they call science. Actually, the root English word science means knowledge. Comes from the Latin, which means knowledge. But actually, it's not really knowledge, because it's evolving. The knowledge itself is evolving. Now we accept this, but earlier we didn't accept this, so it's evolved to where it is now. So Prabhupada explains here that varieties of phenomena occur within this universe on account of the actions and reactions of the three material modes. So these modes of nature, which cause different actions and reactions because they predominate in different species. So we have some species that are predominantly in the mode of ignorance, and they go about behaving in a certain way. And then we have species in the mode of passion and species in the mode of goodness, and they all behave differently. Just like I gave the example the very first day, for those of you who were here. For those of you who weren't here, I'll give the same example. When I was in Africa, in South Africa, we went on safari one time. And we're there in the middle of the jungle. We come upon an open area, and all the animals that are herbivores eating grass, they coexist peacefully. They're all in the mode of goodness. They don't cause harm to anyone. The elephant, the giraffe, the buffalo, they're just eating their grass. The deer, the antelope. But as soon as an animal in the mode of passion comes, a lion, then immediately everyone's disturbed. So due to the actions and interactions and reactions of the different modes of nature, different actions and reactions occur. And therefore we see varieties of different phenomena. Because although there's basically three modes of material nature, they mix and intermix, just like you have the three basic colors. You have red, yellow, and blue. And by mixing these three colors, you can get 16 million variations of colors and hues, which is what we have on our laptops. You get over 16 million different, you can adjust them, colors. They all have a 6 hex number, you know, based on letters and numbers. And you can just put in whatever hex code you want, out comes that particular color. But it all starts from just three colors. So the same with the three modes of material nature. They mix and intermingle in such a way that we get unbelievable varieties of different phenomena, actions, and reactions. But the original creator, or the cause of everything, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is mentioned here in this verse as Nimitta Matram, the remote cause. And because he's the remote cause, just like the reservoir of water is remote, I mean, everybody here in Timisoara, they go to the tap, they get water. But where is the reservoir? Who knows where the reservoir is? How many people know where it is? Just 3 people. 4. The rest of us, we don't know where it is. We just accept it. Somewhere there it is. It's the remote cause. But you can actually go there and see it. That's a deeper knowledge than just accepting blindly that there's some reservoir. Oh, I have faith there's a reservoir. Have you seen it? No. Do you know where it is? No. But if someone goes and sees it, oh, okay, he's got more knowledge. So similarly, the pure devotees, they've actually gone to see the Supreme Lord because they become so purified that they're able to see the Lord face to face. So the supreme cause, or the remote cause, is the Supreme Lord, Nimitta Matram, and Krishna simply pushes the wheel that gets everything moving with his energy. And that energy, he doesn't even have to use his hand to push it. He just thinks and it happens. Mind over matter. We talk about mind over matter. Krishna has perfected that billions of years ago. He just thinks and it happens automatically. Now, according to the Mayavadi philosophers, the Supreme Brahman, which is the supreme spiritual source of everything, which is like what we call the reservoir, has transformed himself into many varieties of forms, but that is not the fact. Even the reservoir is not the source of water, because the reservoir is filled by the rain. So if we go deeper to examine and trace out the source, we have to conclude it comes from the rain. But if you go even deeper, the rain comes from the clouds. And where do the clouds come from? The clouds come by the action of the sun evaporating ocean water. So we have this huge body of salt water known as the ocean, and you have the sun, which is the remote cause, and by the energy of the sun it transforms the water into a gas, which we call vapor, water vapor, and that gas rises and becomes clouds, and these clouds contain tons and tons and tons of water, but in the form of gas, water vapor. And these tons and tons of water float in the sky. And when the temperature goes down to a certain point, then that water vapor goes back into water, and then it falls and it rains. But tons and tons of water float, and then when the temperature goes down, it's released as water and it can't float anymore and it comes down. So if we examine something right back to its original cause, we have a much deeper understanding than the child that water just comes from the tap. So here Prabhupada is explaining that even the Mayavadis, who go deeper than the scientists, but even they don't go deep enough. They don't go all the way. So Prabhupada concludes then in his final statement here that the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna is always transcendental to the actions and reactions of the material gunas, the material modes of nature, although he is the cause of all causes. But he is the remote cause, so remote that most people can't even trace him out. And that's why most religions speak about faith. We have faith in God. We don't have actual experience of God, but we have faith that he exists there. They have faith because when they look and examine everything, there must be a remote cause. There has to be. It just can't happen by itself. But what that remote cause is, they don't have full understanding. We only have full understanding because of the parampara system of knowledge handed down from pure devotees to pure devotees coming from the spiritual realm who had direct interaction with Krishna. Therefore, Prabhupada quotes Lord Brahma from the Brahma Samhita, Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchit Ananda Vigraha Anadiradi Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. That there are many controllers. Even in Timisoara there are so many controllers. But the number one controller maybe is the mayor. He's the most powerful citizen in the town, but he's controlled by the government in Bucharest, and they're controlled by the government in Brussels of the European Union, and it's, so there's so many controllers. You can trace it back, but of all the controllers, the supreme controller of all the other controllers is Krishna. Anadi, he's beginningless, but Anadiradi Govinda. When he wants to begin something, he begins it as Govinda by blowing his flute. Simply by playing on his flute, he causes all these material universes to come into existence. So, in this way, we can understand that Krishna is the supreme divine artist and musician. You play his flute and everything happens. And when we see a beautiful sunrise, or sunset I should say, gorgeous colors and everything, we just say, wow, Krishna is the most amazing artist. He's the most amazing musician. He's everything. With his little bamboo flute, he can very easily play the symphony of Beethoven or Tchaikovsky. In fact, he can play both of them together at the same time. It's inconceivable to mundane people, but we know that Krishna is a supreme cause. Sarva Karana Karanam, he is the cause of every single other cause. So therefore, Prabhupada concludes, there are many causes, there are many effects, but the original cause of everything is Sri Krishna. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Thank you very much. Are there any comments or questions? Yes.
Sometimes people say, they put forward this idea that nobody came back from the afterlife or from the spiritual world, and we don't have any knowledge that somebody came back and told us, okay, this is how it is. Or
No one has seen that. Therefore, it doesn't exist. It's like the people in the Congo. They've never seen snow, so they don't believe it exists. We just bring them to Canada. Then they have a different understanding. So, I mean, they haven't seen Julius Caesar either, So is he just a fictional character? Somebody saw Julius Caesar, somebody saw Lord Jesus, somebody saw Krishna. you know, and so we get this knowledge coming in parampara. So even in the universities, they're giving a parampara understanding. Let's say in the history course, the professor or nobody else in the university ever saw Julius Caesar, but due to the writings of Josephus and other writers over the years, they come to the conclusion there was such a person. And he became Caesar Augustus. He became the what do you call it? The emperor. And he was killed by his best friend. Stabbed in the back. Brutus, you know. So, anyways, so no one's ever seen these things, but we accept it because it's coming in parampara. That's what you tell people. So similarly, our knowledge is coming in parampara. We just go back further, that's all. We go deeper into the subject matter than you do, that's all. Hare Krishna. Anything else? Yes?
So at the very first beginning you said that Bhakti Yoga is not dry, but it's full of nectar.
Mm.
I wanted to ask, how can one not perceive trying to follow Bhakti Yoga as being dry, but instead trying to follow Bhakti Yoga as being full of nectar?
So what's the question? I didn't follow it.
How can one perceive?
How can one perceive it?
Yeah, the fact that Bhakti Yoga is not dry, but it's full of nectar.
Well, we perceive it because we're singing and dancing, we're smiling, we're happy. So we're experiencing it. It's experiential. It's not theoretical. If we talk about something, let's say you're in the cafe with one of your friends, or you're in the student lounge at the university with one of your friends, and you're saying Bhakti Yoga, it's blissful, it's this or that. He's not experiencing it. He's just hearing your explanation of it. So it's a theoretical understanding. To experience it, he has to come here in the morning and experience it. You can tell him, we sing and we dance every morning. It's blissful. Do you sing and dance every morning? No. Okay, that's the first point. Do you agree that to sing and dance, you have to be happy? Yes, okay, so we're happy. You don't sing and dance. Maybe you're not happy. Maybe you're full of stress and anxiety. So I can explain things theoretically, but for him to get an experience, he has to come here. Then he knows what you're talking about, once he experiences it. So, you know, even in the material world, they say talk is cheap. You know, anybody can say anything. But an experience is powerful. Experience is knowledge. Okay, we've had the experience, now we know it's true. So just like in the Congo, when you tell people, well, I'm from Canada, and we have this thing, snow, it falls, you know, in winter it falls on the ground and it builds up. Oh no, we have that too, we call it rain. It falls from the clouds. No, this is different. So we bring our friend from the Congo to Canada, and he sees, oh my God, you bring him in January and snow is falling. He says, this is amazing. No one in my country has ever seen like this. I've got to take this back and show them. So he gets a styrofoam package and he gets the snow and he packs it in and he flies back to the Congo and he says, look, I'm going to show you snow. He opens it up, but of course it's melt. And they say, yeah, rain, just like we said. So unless someone goes and has that experience directly, just talking about something isn't going to do it for them, you know. So you have to invite them. Come here and check it out for yourself. And by the way, we're having a special program this Sunday. It's a free feast. No, just don't say it's a free feast. Say it's a feast and dancing and singing and talks about philosophy and the deepest understanding. And I'm going to give you an invite so it'll cost you nothing. You can come for free. Make it seem like he's the only one coming for free. Yeah, this is called marketing, you know. Marketing means creating a desire in people that they want to experience something. So you create that desire. Say, you can come free. Just mention my name. and they'll let you in free. And so they come and they get an experience. And we feed you. Not only that, save your money. We're going to give you a 5-course feast. So, it's how do we present things? So we have to present everything in a way that they can get the experience. Otherwise, it's all just theory. It's all theoretical. Hare Krishna. Any other points? Okay, thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.